Got something a little bit different for you today, guys. You've got your average up. You've got your game up. You're going to go turn pro. This may even be a case of you just want to know what it's like on that experience and that pathway, because there are considerations that aren't to do with how you throw your darts, what your average is, or how you win. There's special considerations such as insurance. You can't just get your normal car insurance no more, Andy. You're a professional dart player. It means you're going to do more miles. You can't just have social, domestic and pleasure, whatever it is. You need professional sportsman's insurance, which means your premiums, from the moment you get your tool card, going up.
Some of these things that we're going to tell people, they're so important. You know, I'm going to talk about tax. How many people going into being a pro dart player have even thought about this? You've got to start saving your receipts for your expenses. You've got to start declaring your income. You probably need to get an accountant involved. You can do it yourself, but you know, you're going to need to get somebody professional involved, because there's going to be money going out. Hopefully there's going to be money coming in. Very important to make sure you're on top of your taxes. Don't be one of these players, and it has happened in the past. Inland Revenue come after you in a few years' time. You're in big trouble then. So sort your tax out from the start.
Especially if you're still working as well, because you'll be paying tax PAYE.
Yeah.
There's 2 different tax codes now for you. It gets very confusing very quickly. The lifestyle. It's not always what you think it is. You think about being on stage in front of thousands of people. It's great for those 20 minutes, that hour, but actually the other side of that, it's a lot of hotels, it's a lot of travelling, it's a lot of missed opportunities. You miss a lot, certainly at home as well. It's a very different lifestyle to what you perceive it to be.
It's a lot of time away from your family. I kind of say these days, it's a young man's sport, because while you're still young and you're still single and you haven't got those commitments, you're free to travel the world. But if you've got a family, maybe you've got a wife, maybe you've had a job and you've given that up, I know you've done it for a long time, it's not easy, is it?
No, you do miss a lot, and let's say that friendship circle gets a lot smaller when you let people down.
You've got to think about your budget. You know, you might have a set amount of money that you've put away to do the tour for a year. Hotels, there's train tickets, there's planes to pay for. Don't forget, the one that people forget is food and drink. If you're not eating at home all the time, if you're literally, oh, I need to eat, and there's a fast food place, or I'm in a hotel and I'm in a restaurant, that is going to mount up, especially the drink. You're not getting your instant coffee out the cupboard, you're paying £5 every time you want a coffee. You've really got to manage that budget, Matt.
Watch out for the extras. You've now can't just put your darts in your hand luggage, you've got to have a bag check-in. So that's an extra £30 each way, so we're talking £60 there if you're going to go on a budget airway. Is the hotel walking distance, or do I need a taxi from the hotel backwards and forwards? So there's lots of hidden costs here that people, when they're planning their trips, need to be very well aware of. Getting to the airport, am I leaving my car there? Am I getting the train? You are now a business. You are a brand. You know, with that, you're going to have to deal with how you're going to present yourself, how you're going to brand yourself, but obviously how you're also going to work out for your sponsors, because a lot of people, what they do is they go, right, I want to get sponsors, put them on my shirt, that'll be great, but actually, are you going to keep those if that's all you're doing? Because essentially that sponsor is going to want a return. They're going to want to see their advertisement. They're going to want to see the impact of the money they're spending. And you may not have any experience of that. Management,
or somebody that's going to handle your bookings, you know, you're going to need to book all these hotels and trains and, you know, flights and even your entries into tournaments. You need to be on top of your diary. It's not an easy thing to do yourself. If you have got a family member, or obviously if you're in the top 16 of the world, you can pay a management company to do this for you. Somebody close to you that you can trust, that's going to get you there on time, you know, that's going to get you in the hotel in the right town. You know, we've all ended up staying in the wrong place. It's going to get you the train ticket that gets you there. It's going to make sure your equipment, oh no, you know, oh, I haven't got my spare darts. All the things that they can take away the stress from you leaves you to be able to play darts. I think it's really important that not so much full-on media training, but you need to be media aware, media savvy, certainly in the day of social media. How many times have we seen newspapers now, or press, go back 15 years onto someone's Facebook to find a comment they made 15 years ago? And how many players do you see now go, oh no, I don't really want to do that, that's not for me, I don't really want to talk to the press, I don't really want interviewing. You've got to be good at that. Not everybody's going to be perfect in front of camera, but you really need to be committed to that side of things. You're growing yourself as a business. You are now a business, and you've got to be able to grow it, Matt. And that is it, essentially. The dart players at the moment, certainly the ones at the professional level, they don't get the business side, which again is why sort of
other organisations are very, very important, but it's something you need to be considering if you want to go on that path.
Practicing, sort of when and where, you know, have you got a decent facility at home? When I got to pro level, actually built myself one of these fancy sheds in the garden so I could lock myself away in there, practice to my heart's content. If you're still practicing in a spare room at home and Auntie Deirdre's coming in and disturbing you every time you're trying to play, or the kids are running around your ankles, or the dog's jumping on the bed, that's maybe not ideal. If you're still practicing with your best mate and he's averaging 50 and you're trying to average 90, that's probably not going to be the best practice. So when and where you structure your practice, super important.
The commitment to it as well. It becomes a job. And that's the biggest thing to get across to people. Yes, right now it might seem fun. I have people tell me all the time when I talk about travelling, and they go, oh, I love going to airports. Yeah, because you go once a year to Malaga. Yeah. It's great because you're excited, I'm off to Malaga. But when you're in an airport 14 times a year, and your flight's delayed, and then you've got transfers, and then you're bagged.
The commitment to it all, it's not what everybody thinks it is, the glamour. Everybody sees the on-stage presence, the glamour, the walk-on, the money, and think, I want a piece of that. Think of all these things first.
Well, if you just take a look at the checklist, you'll see actually the considerations. It completely revamps your life. Your normal 9 to 5, your normal way of living, it's about to change.